So I have an idea about doing just a very taupe, really soft taupe eye. We got to find true taupe. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to use. I think that this is going to do it with a little bit of this. Got to stay away from that, but we're into that. And we're into this. And I think these two mixed together are going to be the Taupalicious taupey goodness that I'm after. And I also think I might use this. I can't decide which one. Do I want to use Endless Cacao? Or do I want to use, so this is Endless Cacao, very, very taupey. Or do I want to use Total Taupe? He's in there on his phone calls. They're so similar. So this is Total Taupe and that's Endless Cacao. I feel like one's just a little bit darker. I actually think I might use the taupe. The taupe's got I'm a mess right now. I've got eyeshadow everywhere. But I think I might want to use that one. It's got a little bit more pink in it, which will lend itself to this more gray tone and it'll stay very true. Also, I'd like to give you all little updates. I am going to hop off and film the foundation separately only because I thought of a way to kind of go over super dry, flaky, patchy areas because I mentioned yesterday we've been doing the retinol. We as in me, it is me. It's this girl right here. So I thought in the winter, if you live somewhere really dry, I just thought this was going to be a really, really, really good technique. So I will hop off and film that later. So what I had in mind, I just went and did it. Okay, so a lot of y'all asked, this is kind of fun too, because today's tutorial is not going to be crazy extensive, so I can chat with y'all for just a second. But a lot of y'all ask how I do things, or you wonder if the pictures that I use, because I always green screen my own picture. A lot of people green screen other people's picture, but I would never do that. But I kind of just created on my skin. And the way that I would create this kind of patchy, dry look is I actually applied a little bit of lash glue and then I let it almost set and then I'll put some kind of liquid or cream foundation on top, let that almost set. Then I'm going to kind of peel back and forth and then I just add some powder on top and that powder is just going to grab all of that and it's just going to be, or I should say the powder is just going to cling to all of that foundation and glue and then I get some really nice crunchy looking dry spots because that's what my video is going to be about, just makeup clinging to dry spots, mostly powder clinging to dry spots. So I'm just using Sheila and a little bit of micellar water and I'm just going to tap this off and I don't want to pull too hard. And remember, I have super reactive skin. I'm being so gentle. I don't want you to think I'm pulling on my face. Just I have, like, if I was to scratch here it would light up even though I just barely go. So just be really, really gentle and I'm kind of just letting it soak and then just barely tapping. And then if I need to add more skincare, I would, but it still feels pretty sticky. I mean, you absolutely can add some more. I'll add a little bit more of my Elemis, this rose serum, and I'll just put it there. It felt fine, but if you've ever wondered, it's not that I need to go back and do everything because that skincare had time to kind of sit there and just really work its way into the skin there. But if you feel like you've wiped it away, just put it on the spot you wiped. So let's get started. Sorry about that, but a lot of times y'all ask about the swatches and what I do with the skincare, so I thought that was a perfect opportunity. So what I want to do, and what you just saw me do, is make sure I don't have too much eye cream still in the crease, especially when you're going to use a see-through, transparent, very sticky base like this. And I don't want to really change the tone, and I don't mind my undertone. I'm a mess today, I'm sorry. But that being said, I will really pack on a powder foundation from about, well, you'll see. But we're not going to use an eyeshadow just yet. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and swatch these, and I thought about something. Whenever I have my swatches of where I'm going with the makeup look, it kind of keeps me on track if I leave it here on my cheek. It reminds me of the colors. I won't get too warm. And like I mentioned earlier, it's just really easy to wipe it away. I know now for sure because these are so easy to get off. It's not like that lash glue I had. I won't even need to put any more skincare underneath. It's just going to be one light little swipe. But if you have trouble kind of getting your idea out of your head, try swatching it on your cheek because your reference is always there. I know this seems kind of like, ugh, but it'll really help you. This helped me. This wasn't just for a view. This really, it keeps that canvas right here and it just keeps everything flowing and you're like, oh, reference. Oh, it's getting too warm. Reference. So let's go ahead and just even that out. Remember, we have that clear base on it. Even though it's completely transparent, we want to make sure that it's smoothed out. I'm going to take some Makeup Forever powder foundation. This one's well loved. Between this one's more full coverage than the Laura Geller, but if you're just in a hurry and you're looking for a powder foundation that just goes on, you don't have to think about it, Laura Geller. But if you want something more full coverage, but you have to just think about it a little bit more. Anytime we do full coverage, there's more blending, there's more thought. But this one is fantastic. So we're going to take this one, and the reason I want to use this is because it's my undertone, but I'm going to get some coverage from my brow to my upper crease. I'm going to relax and see where that's going. That looks so nice, so smooth. Covered up my freckles because I still want to see a little bit more full coverage, but concealer can get a little tricky because then we start carving with it. It can get a little messy. Doing this with powder foundation is just so easy. I'm doing a lot of yapping today, but I'm yapping because I love you. So I have definitely used this on my lips before, absolutely. But I dipped it in just rubbing alcohol, okay? And then I let it dry. It's gonna dry so quickly, so don't worry about that. But this has been sanitized because if I did this with my lips and went to my eye, we do not want to do that. That might cause an eye infection. And if you are doing this and that, I am never judging you. There's no judgment. But I feel that because I help and I'm here to help, I want to make sure that if we want to be sanitary with that, I tell you how to be sanitary. So just rubbing alcohol, dip it in there, let it completely dry, and now we're going to go to town. So let's just go ahead and notice that I've already done one eye. This eye is not done blending, but we want to work one eye at a time, especially with a pencil like this, because this pencil is going to set. And I don't have any base underneath this either. It's not going to. Now before that dries, it's not a race. I don't want you to be freaking out and just having chaos, but I do want you to work just a little bit quickly. We're going to take this Anastasia Sultry palette. I love this. And then I'm going to take that. Notice I'm using the side of the brush. Well, I'm trying to until I couldn't see in my phone. I'm noticing. Okay, let me finish this and I'm going to chat after this next slide, but just tap to transition. It's going to transition pretty quickly because it's not set. And then it's actually going to run into that little bit of kind of wet base that we had just in that upper socket, and it's really going to transition nicely. And look how nice that looks. Okay, let me tell y'all what I was going to tell you in the next slide. It's pretty funny. So I don't even know how long I've been doing, especially this type of tutorial. Let's see. I started Snapchat tutorials, I don't know, 2017, late 2016. I've been doing this format a long time, but I can tell I'm getting older, obviously from looking at myself. But I can tell because I have my contacts on, I get my vision checked, but I can tell that I don't see quite as well. I have to kind of get in here because I used to just be able to use my phone as my mirror completely, but I'm honestly just like, hang on. At least we're in this together. So now let's take our powder foundation again, just a tiny amount, and let's just blend this together. Just do some nice tapping, and that'll melt everything together so beautifully. And this is a pretty simple eye, right? I am going to do top and bottom waterline and maybe just a little bottom wing coming out that way. Now just for a little depth, I'm going to add just a little bit more of my Total Taupe pencil just to the inner part of the eye here. Ooh, yeah. It's subtle, but it's there. And then I'm going to add it to the outer as well. And then let's grab whatever liner we're going to use. Let me find my Melt one. So where I'm at in my makeup journey, I can absolutely just go in. I don't even need to tug on my eye, do any of that. But we're not all there, and I understand that because at one time I wasn't, and I wish that I would have known this little trick. So instead of pulling, okay, we're not pulling like that. All I'm doing is squishing. Okay, see how that just pops right out? Now, this is so much easier to do into a mirror, but it's so easy because I wear contacts. Again, I still don't get anything on my contacts. Same thing up here. Look at that. Whee! And I'm using the C31 to do this, but you just need a short, dense brush. And it's so easy to do into a mirror. If you're like, looks a little complicated, I'm doing it into my phone, and we already talked about that. And then I just want you to see, I'm not going underneath the waterline. That's not what I'm doing. All I'm doing is I'm just doing some little blinks. And that's going to tight line for us and go into the lashes. So we're wanting to bring it out of the lashes. And all we're doing is just depositing a little bit of that pigment because we'll grab an E26 and it's actually easier just to blink. Just give it a nice blink in there. And then we'll grab our E26 and that's going to do the rest. I'll grab that E26 and just move that around a little bit. And another reason I really love that melt pencil, I basically confessed my undying love for it yesterday on stories. But I love it because it doesn't dry instantly, so we can kind of move it and smudge it just a little bit. Bring it out that way. And I'm not going to finish with my wing yet. I want to come from underneath later. So I got to get my concealer and all that on. But remember, I have to go film that. Ooh, makes my eyes look so brown. Also, want to take this time to remind you that this very smudgy look is horrifying until it's done. And I feel that we look at these pictures that we'll see and it's a completed look and we're like, oh my God, it's so pretty. Because I used to do this. I used to just be like, oh, it's so pretty. And then I would get to here and I would be like, this has to get off my face. I look atrocious. This is going nowhere. Well, it's going to go somewhere. And I have to say it. We have to trust the process. So I am going to curl my lashes, but I'm really only curling the front. I'm not even really going to worry too much. That side is going to curl, but I'm really going to curl the front. And the reason why is because I don't know if I mentioned it because I'm filming a TikTok and this. Sometimes I get a little back and forth doing half lashes. So I just need the front to have a little bit more volume than usual. I'm going to grab my e.l.f. mascara. I'm going to work a little bit harder on the front, but all I'm going to do on the outer part is just coat it, make sure it's nice and black. But where I want the volume to stay is towards the front. So we have our Tati Lash. This is the Style Side Hustle, and it's actually going to help to turn to the side to apply this than it would be to do it straight on. If we're doing a full strip, it's going to be easier to do it straight on, but from the side, if we're doing a little whisper lash like this, the side is so much easier. Now let that sit for a second. Don't try to adjust it. Give it 30 seconds. All right, I'm going to hop off and I'm going to go film my little situation. I might actually be a second. I might go grab a bite of lunch with Ben downstairs. So we'll come back and finish the look, but I'll definitely be back. And these lashes look really, really nice. Okay, I'll be back. I'm back. Okay, so I have my foundation concealer on. You're going to see that in the video, which I might post that one tomorrow. I have another one I want to post tonight. But that being said, Cover FX Cream Foundation. I love it so much. And then for concealer, I used my Kylie concealer, shade 3C. All right, let's go in with our gingerbread. Or no, hazelnut heart. The other one is gingerbread. This is hazelnut heart. I'm out of control. So let's go ahead and apply this. I'm using my spatula. I know this seems complicated with the spatula, but I like the spatula. Me and my spatula are out here being real close. Now let's work that in. We're going to use a C40. I'm going to use my stamping motions. And I want you to notice that the brush isn't flopping back and forth. Even if you don't get the C40, obviously, use what you have, but look in your collection for something that doesn't flop back and forth. And what I mean, it doesn't go side to side. It kind of just cups and hugs that cheek. So every time that you're pressing, it's doing that same exact motion. It's not doing this and then this and then this. It's creating that flow each time. It's important. And I put on a lot of bronzer. I felt like being extra bronzy today. I don't want to hear no judgment, okay? And one thing, I will say one thing about this particular bronzer, it really does blend in nicely, but it doesn't blend away. So I'm just setting the very center of my face. I don't really have to set too much here. And the reason why is because of what I did. It's basically setting itself. Now my under eyes, you'll see in the video what I did there, but I also have the mixture there and it's perfect. So I'm putting the powder in places that I don't have the mixture that you will see. Now I'm gonna take my liner, smudge a little bit there. Notice where it's at. Just want it right there. Now we're gonna grab our E26 and we're gonna bring it over this way. And then I'm gonna come from underneath and we're gonna do a really thin little wing. Now we're gonna take Total Taupe again. Remember that very first liner we started with. And I'm just gonna smudge the black. So I want a more quiet blush. I don't want something too pink, something too red. I feel like this is gonna be right in between. Isn't this pretty? And I'm gonna be able to just place it right here. Now, normally I wouldn't do this, but I do know this formula is not too wild. It's not quite like the Rare Beauty. See that? It's gonna blend out really nicely. But I'm only doing this because I do know this formula and how it performs. But that's not the way I recommend you apply a liquid blush if you're not familiar with the formula. So remember, we can go from eye to lip, but we shouldn't go from lip to eye. So I'm gonna use that same pencil as my lip liner today. So fun. And then we're gonna go super 90s with this gloss. This is the J.Cat Lip Tonics in Pebbles BFF. Yes, that's it. And I am so cool tone, but not just super cool tone, just neutral taupe. Exactly what I wanted. Fun. Okay, we're done. I'm done. This is a look, isn't it? I love it. I love these tones. I feel like this type of look is one of the reasons I got into makeup. Also, my hair is hairing today. My friend Avery, she blow dried my hair for me yesterday, and I'm pretty sure this might be one of the best blowouts that I've ever had. So thank you, Avery.